Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 of the best of 3 between Funagor and ActionMambels in the Great Paradox Tourney. So in this one we're once again on Sainte-Mère-Église, but the divisions have changed. Funagor is going to be utilising his 101st Airborne this time round, and ActionMambels the 9th Panzer. So very different approaches to before, maybe not so much for Funagor. He has the infantry-based division that is definitely going to be able to put a lot of pressure on the town. However, ActionMambels may be looking to go round the town this time round, as he is using that 9th Panzer. Now the 9th Panzer is actually very favourable, especially this bot and top side around these orchards. If he can stay just outside of range of enemy infantry AT, then the 9th Panzer can really exploit that quite heavily. But again, an interesting choice of start for ActionMambels, not deploying any infantry, just to hold the front line at the top side of the map. Just going all out in the bottom side with this Panzer II Lux, Panzer II combo, and the 251-2 mortar carrier has also got a Marder 3 joining that convoy. So Funagor is just going to be smoking off the centre of the road there and moving up his infantry as is normal as an approach for the 101st Airborne. But he isn't really coming up against any resistance here, so I'm surprised not to see him just make those fast move a little further. You can see the front line pushing forwards very, very fast here. There's got to be kind of careful here, ActionMambels, about moving across the open, because these M3 guns and the M1 gun, they have 1,000 meter range, whereas the Lux and the Panzer IIs only have 800 meter range. Now the mortar is firing away and will be able to do quite a lot of damage to the M3 gun, I would assume, especially with the help of the Marder 3. However, that M1 gun will have range onto the Marder 3 once it gets in line of sight. That 251 now aiming at the M1 gun. Yes, it is. Panzer 1C is going to take a shell to the face. A little bit of an engagement starting in the middle of the map between the speed troop and the airborne rifles, but not too much going on there. Funagor just securing his town, as is to be expected. So I like the idea that ActionMambels has completely avoided the town this time round, especially against the 101st. However, has enabled the top side to just completely go in favour of the enemy when he could have easily sent a Panzer 1C up there to just cover that off. And both the AT guns were forced to fall back. Panzer II Lux did go down, I believe. And also maybe the Panzer 1C as well, which might have just been the Panzer II Lux, because there's a Panzer 1C here still, and another one coming up to reinforce. There is also a Locust coming in for Funagor though, so this engagement will be interesting. 2 AT guns and an M22 versus all of this armour. Can the Panzer IIs get into the 800 meter range they need to engage upon the M3 gun when it shows itself? They're definitely going to be able to do damage to the airborne rifles there. But can the M3 gun do the job? I'm not so sure. Mortar is firing away. Panzer 1's falling back. The M1 gun actually missed its shot there. Mustang bomber going to be coming in, dropping its bombs onto the Marder 3, which is fair enough considering the Marder 3 is open top. Panzer 1C goes down up here, however. Mustang is going to be able to get away from the Focke 190 of ActionMambels. That mortar still firing away, still failing to pick up kills. So any infantry in the open down here is set to be hit pretty hard. This Marder 3 is currently engaging the M1 gun from out of range, I believe, and does manage to pick up that kill, so that's nice. Focke does get the pin onto the 60mm mortar, which is good. That might prevent Funagor from making any more ground in the town. So this seems to be working out so far. Panzergrens have moved up. They have got line of sight onto the M3 gun. And if that AT gun goes down, all of this here, all of these tanks are free to push on through. However, 52% or 58% territory in favour of Funagor. ActionMambels has just neglected this top side. An HMG, a 50 cal, is all that is capturing this. Like I said before, one Panzer 1C sitting up here would have done the job, and then you could have just concentrated the rest of your forces down here, and you'd probably be, you know, at an advantage. I mean, I think ActionMambels probably would be winning if it wasn't for all this territory on the top side that he just gave away for free. So Focke-Wulf 190 still strafing the AT guns. And honestly, Funagor is going to be pretty low on AT guns now. Since the nerf to the AT guns of the 101st, there isn't that much availability on the division. So we've already seen like the M1 gun go down there. M3 gun was deployed here, has been forced all the way back. There's probably only like 2 more M3 guns and maybe 1 more M1 gun on the enemy division, like on the 101st. So that means that these Panzer II Lux have a good opportunity of pushing forwards, and currently Funagor is deciding to use the bazookas. Trouble is with these bazookas is, as soon as they reveal themselves, they will be killed off by the Panzer II and the Panzer I. But we did see the M3 gun pick off the Marder, and that is a glorious kill for the M3 gun to take, especially considering this M3 gun is only 40 points. That Marder cost 110, I believe. Bit of a mistake there, especially considering that Storch should be able to see it. Yeah. So why that happened, I do not know. Mustang going to be coming in with the bombs once again. Going to be trying to bomb out these tanks and continue to force them back. Might even allow the P-51 Mustang to shoot down the Storch, especially considering it's been forced back by the Bofors, now brought in by Funagor. But nope, not going to want to do that, apparently. Maybe too scared that if he follows that up, a Focke-Wulf 190 will come in and shoot him down, which is fair enough. So the Lux moving round the enemy at the moment. 51% territory in favour of Funagor, although that's just gone down to 50%. As a Panzer Grenadier team has now broken back against the HMG. Like that's all he needed there. Panzergren team, you know, like a Panzer 1, something like that would have been more than enough to hold that ground, and he would be sitting at a +1 if he was around this area right now. So ActionMambels was kind of dropping the ball at the start, but now it's not so bad, although he is walking into 2 M22 Locusts and the M3 gun at a range he really can't fight at. He can stop and kill off the Pathfinders and the bazookas maybe, but there we go. M22 going to be hitting that Lux and taking it out. Quite interesting to see the light tank battle, honestly. Not something you see very often. But now Funagor just needs to make sure that he utilises the M22s at max range. And as long as he does that, all of these units will be forced back. Marder 3 is going to be coming in on the bot side. Maybe that can help clean up the M22s. However, the M22s do have enough AP to penetrate that Marder 3 no problem. So again, it's all about utilising the range. Like having the Marder here originally was a great idea. Just letting it get killed by the M3 gun was just seriously sloppy. So 50 cal going to be engaged once again by the Panzer Grenadiers at close range. And we're likely to see the HMG go down, although the 50 cal is doing a decent job at the moment. Can he get the pin? Yeah, he did. Panzergren gets pinned down by the HMG, although the HMG is now reloading. Whoa. That turned around quick, didn't it? Panzergren's recovered their morale just quick enough to get the shots onto that 50 cal and kill it off, which takes the game back to 50-50. Bomber coming in again. Mustang hitting the Marder 3 there. Oh, and that's another Panzer 2 going down to a Locust. Mustang coming in to help out with his engagement. ME-109 G2BR21 not going to quite get onto the back of it. This could be a very long engagement. Unless the Focke-Wulf 190 is allowed to get onto the back of the Mustang there, which could very well happen. Nope, looks like ActionMambels is going to prioritize pinning down this Mustang before he follows up onto the Bomber Mustang. 2v1. The Mustang's probably going to end up getting shot down. Yeah. There we go. Mustang down. Ooh, nearly crashed into the M3 gun. Gotta love it when that happens. Focke-Wulf 190 going to be trying to go for the pin onto the Bofors so that it can continue to strafe. But not going to happen. That Bofors is going to force that Focke-Wulf 190 to fall back. Now 2 units have arrived. 2 units of infantry on the top side. Airborne rifles. Now ActionMambels just got to be careful that he gets the right engagement ranges onto these airborne rifles with the Panzer 1. Because they do have a 200 range bazooka. But fortunately, because these are orchards, you can generally see just a little bit further than that. Which is really good. That's why I suggested you bring in a Panzer 1 to the top earlier on. Now the Marder 3 is going to start paying off here as it engages the M22s. And once those are dead, ActionMambels can once again push forwards with his looks. So I would like to see the Panzer 1C now and the Panzer 2 looks pushing back towards the Pathfinder. There is a lot of bazookas now on this bottom side, which is a very interesting response. However, Phase B has now arrived, and that means more AT guns for Funagor. Focke-Wulf 190 G3 going to be coming in and dropping the 4-5 HE power bombs onto the airborne rifles and forcing those back. It looks like the airborne rifles did manage to get into Zuka range of the Panzer 1 due to a bit of missed micro on the side of ActionMambels. And that means it's just this Panzergren squad here waiting and holding that ground for ActionMambels. If he loses that Panzergren squad, he's going to lose a lot of ground again. +1 now for Funagor. So what's good here is sort of Funagor isn't over-investing into the town. One thing that I do see quite often is people, once they already control the town, will over-invest towards it. Which is good if it's under attack, but it's not in this case. And like just making sure that you don't waste points there is a good idea. Mustang coming in for the engagement onto the Focke-Wulf 190. I believe Funagor's going to look for the bait here. Try and get the Focke-Wulf 190 to fly over his AA. And then that will allow the Mustang to shoot it down. However, he just mistimed that a little bit. Ideally, you want the P-51 to be flying out for just a little bit longer so that it can get onto the back of that Focke-Wulf 190 Mustang. Going to be getting away from the engagement with the ME-109 G2BR21 though. So that's good. But now a +2 for Funagor. So what can ActionMambels do? Well, since he killed those 2 M22s, he should be trying to focus on this bottom side. However, it looked like he moved forwards his looks and it might have got sniped by this M1 gun. So that's not ideal. And is going to delay the push on the bottom side. ME-109 G2BR21. Was that guessing where the enemy AA was and went for a rocket strike there? I'm not entirely sure. Seemed like a bit of a random strike. But the Storch now coming in again. Provide more recon. Let's see what he actually gets to see. Nothing. Briefly spots the airborne rifles there, which is good. He spots the mortar. He's got a little bit of an idea of what's going on. And not too much information gained by this Storch. So what I would like to see is some infantry coming here. Good start. And then supported by the Panzer II Lux. That Focke-Wulf 190 should have pinned down the airborne rifles there. Yes, that's exactly what happened. M3 gun might get the shot onto the Panzergrenz. Yeah. As soon as he saw the first shot come in there, he should have unloaded them straight away. Focke-Wulf 190 going to be late to the party, and his comrades are already dead. Mortar firing away with its smoke rounds. Going to lead the Panzer 1 into a potential ambush. As soon as that smoke lifts, Panzer 1 will die, unless the speed troop can kill off the rifles in time, or at least force them to fall back. But it looks like Funagor did that job for him there, as he brought in the B-26B Marauder with the 8 bombs, which pinned down his own infantry. Did just about pin down the speed troop beforehand, which caused them to surrender, but the Panzer 1, because it was later in the chain of being stunned, actually made the airborne rifles surrender afterwards. So that's going to open up a door for ActionMambels to push some infantry into the town. P-51 Mustang is going to be coming in with its own bombs. That's going to be trying to force back these Panzer II Lux. The Storch is coming in again. Not sure how much ActionMambels is actually going to see, although he did get line of sight onto the M3 gun here. Has got line of sight onto the Bofors and the CGMC. So now it's just a matter of ActionMambels taking advantage of this less defended town after the edge of it was kind of given away for free. I'm surprised there wasn't actually more infantry further up on this town, but in the standard Sainte-Mère-Église setup, the width of these buildings isn't very much, so you can't really cover your forces very well. Whereas on the duelist version, where the straight road goes sideways, you get a lot more buildings to work with. It's a lot harder to sort of hold the outskirts in this map as opposed to the duelist version. Now the airborne engineers there are going to be pinned down. Panzer Grenadiers continuing to push up, this time with the support of a Stug 3 again, actually, and the Panzer 1. There is an M1 gun on the road, however. That M1 gun could very easily take out the Stug, unless the Stug gets the pin. Focke-Wulf 190 G3 brought in to try and get the 5 HE Bauer bombs on target, but not quite. M1 gun gets the crew knocked out, which is going to leave the Stug 3 very vulnerable. Oh, just about gets the last shot off, but doesn't pin the M1 gun. And we also see the Pathfinder kill off the Panzer 1. This Pathfinder could also kill off the Stug 3 if it's allowed to get close enough. It's not. Pinned down just in time. Stug 3 falling back. Good stuff. ActionMambels does have a 251 half-track, however, going pretty Rambo here. Does break completely through past the airborne engineers and is now even on top of the CGMC, although if that half-track goes in front of the CGMC, the 37mm AA gun is definitely going to force it to be pinned down. That's if the flames don't do it first. It's just going to make that surrender now, as it has nowhere to go. An interesting little play, but 52% territory lead for Funagor. There's a lot of units up here that aren't really doing too much. It looks like he's trying to get some of these airborne rifles towards the centre of the town now, since ActionMambels is making ground. But I would also like to see some pressure put on this top side, which has, you know, obviously been weak from the start. Enemy half-track going down there. Now the 9th Panzer actually do have Flampanzers. And bringing out a Flampanzer at this point for ActionMambels would be devastating for Funagor. The 258 is moving up quite aggressively, and so is the Panzer 1. The Panzer 1 is going to be taken out by the M5A1, and it looks like the 250... yeah, that's going to go down to the bazooka. So Mustang going to be trying to get on the back of the Focke-Wulf 190. There is, however, 3 AA on the side of ActionMambels now. Mustang's still going to shrug that off and get out of there. Pathfinders are in range, I think, to throw the AT grenades at the looks. Got to be very careful. The looks can kill off the Pathfinders. But if the Pathfinders land a gammon bomb, that could be very one dead Panzer II looks. 258 kills off the M3 gun at close range. Interesting that that M3 gun didn't get the penetration there. That was quite unlucky, especially at that range. But either way, the M1 gun going to return the favour as it comes out into the open. B-26B Marauders going to be bombing the centre of the town here. And the half-track also going down as it reveals itself to the M1 guns. It's quite a chaotic game now. So this is what I like to see. Both players really going at each other for quite a contested game. I'm just surprised that Funagor didn't take full advantage of the top side of the map yet, especially considering there's only one unit of Panzer Grenadiers there with the 3 health. And I'm also surprised to see ActionMambels actually be able to get into the town so easy. It was, yeah, very interesting to see. Ideally, there would have been more units of, you know, airborne rifles further up. Like, I saw the amount he had in the town, and I thought that was fine. It's just they weren't really positioned properly, and therefore, as soon as the airborne rifles died on the edge of the town, there wasn't really much to stop ActionMambels just breaking through with the Panzergrens he'd brought in to reinforce. And now we see a +1 in favour of ActionMambels. Rockets coming in. They're going to slam the airborne rifles out of that building. There was not a command there in time for this airborne rifles to surrender. This one won't surrender, thankfully, because the glider leader is now available. But we do still see the Stug, and that's now engaging the M1 gun again. There's also the BEO Panzer IV coming in, and that will be able to provide some nice off-map onto these units. It just doesn't need to die against this M1 gun, preferably. Panzer II looks coming out the shadows. Going to be getting the flank onto the M1 gun. Really nice job. This M1 gun, however, is going to be opening up very shortly. Oh, the Panzer II looks also took out the CGMC. That's massive. That's what I was looking for the looks to do, but now the looks being forced to fall back. M1 gun's going to get the shot. Job done indeed. Focke-Wulf 190 now also going to be coming in to harass the the Mustang. Focke-Wulf 190 G3 coming in with the HE bombs, 5 HE power bombs. Can he do some serious damage to this M1 gun? Doesn't do a single point of damage. That's why I don't really prefer the 4 5 HE power bombs compared to the bigger bombs that the Focke-Wulfs can carry. But with this glider leader pinned down, I'm not sure if he's aware, but either way, this Panzer Grenadier could be definitely way more aggressive right now. Also, I'm not sure quite why ActionMambels is moving forwards this Panzergren, because if he loses those to any of these units up here, then that leaves a massive salient on the top side, which would kind of ruin his chances of winning. Because the main reason that Funagor isn't so far ahead right now, that ActionMambels can't even come back, is because he didn't capitalise on this top side. Focke-Wulf 190 coming in with the bombs once again. I guess that's one thing that's good about these Focke-Wulf 190 G3s. I'm not sure how many ActionMambels actually has, but I believe they reload very quickly, which can be very useful. Now, Panzergrens here, going up against glider rifles, are going to be taken out. Panzer 1C, however, is going to pin down Pathfinders in the open. Still an engagement going on up here, as the Panzergrens pin down Pathfinders and the airborne rifles there. Panzer 1C, Befehl Panzer 2 on the way, also a Stug 3 heading up there. 2 more Panzergrens heading to the town. Both sides have a severe lack of infantry in the middle at the moment. 54% territory lead now for Funagor. The ActionMambels did manage to get some points on the board, but not going to be enough for victory just yet. as Funagor has taken back the lead. Mustang now being brought in. Let's see if there is an air engagement that ensues. Will ActionMambels come over the AA? I'm not entirely sure he will. We might take a few shots from the Bofors, but I feel like the Focke-Wulf 190 might be able to get round enough to shoot down the P-51 Mustang. Never mind. Bofors on the top side of the map, saving the day there. Double B-26B Marauder coming in with the 10 HE power bombs. Bombs away, boys, as they go for the kill onto the AA and the tanks here. Focke-Wulf 190 is going to be instantly forced to fall back by those B-26Bs. And that does relieve the pressure a little bit on the top side. One of the Befehl Panzer IIs still firing away at the Pathfinders. We also see the 170mm off-map coming down on top of this infantry. So that stops the push up there for now. However, Funagor has regained the town, reinforced it with more airborne rifles. And that's quite a big deal, because it's going to make it very hard for ActionMambels to push in once again. Like, he kind of got given a break due to Funagor bombing his own infantry unit. But that is no longer the case. And I doubt Funagor will make the same mistake twice. So he's got this well reinforced now. We did see also one of the SDKF Z71s go down to the machine guns of the airborne rifles because they aren't armoured. Stug 3, however, and this combination of panzers could be enough to break through the rifles on the top side. On this bottom side, Funagor's actually playing quite far back. It looks like he lost his infantry, like the Pathfinders and the glider rifles that were trying to move forwards. Probably to the SDKF Z263 here and the Panzer 1C. Ooh. One of those Panzergrenadier squads getting very, very far up. Going to instantly surrender after their half-track gets taken out. Massive 356mm off-map coming down onto the Stug 3s and the Panzers. One of the Panzer 1's going to go down to the airborne rifles. Stug 3 and Panzer 2 going to be forced to fall back. Also, the Mustang continues that trend. Stug 3 moving up in the town, going to be engaging the M4. And the M4 wins out. Wow. That is a 1-star M4. Does have the 5 accuracy. But my god, did not expect that to win. Looks like ActionMambels is going to be replacing that with a Tiger. Another unit of Panzergrenadiers and their half-track going down there to the surrender. There is no command here, and that is a massive mistake going into a town. I feel like ActionMambels completely dropped the ball. Like, he had a solid push moving in with the Panzergrenadiers and the half-tracks, but he's just got to keep those half-tracks alive for starters. And he's also got to make sure that he has the command so that his units don't surrender. And then he's got to find the enemy command so that he can make the enemy unit surrender. We see a Thunderbolt come in. That's going to use its 10, 15 HE power bombs to blow up the Stug. Really nice strike there. Quite lucky, actually, that he managed to pull that off first time round. Now, the Stug does only have 8 front armor, but still. Looked like those missiles were hitting the front armor, so yeah, pretty lucky that the Thunderbolt managed to break through there. I guess there's also top armor as well that a rocket may have hit rather than the front armor. But the Mustang going to be forced to fall back there due to the SDKF Z71, and the Focke-Wulf is in range to get onto the back of it for a short amount of time, but just enough speed to get away. So one of the airborne rifles now dying on the top side. Speed Troop are pushing up. We've got the bombs coming in from the Focke-Wulf 190G3. Can ActionMambels make enough ground? He's currently got the 51% territory lead. Just bombed out another unit of airborne rifles, which is nice to see. He's got to get a +2 now to win. But ActionMambels has to make quite a lot of ground. And if he doesn't, and he gets pushed back, then he's pretty much lost. Now this M4 did manage to take out the Stug 3 in the mid, which was absolutely pivotal. However, it looks like some rifles here might get a Zuka into the Tiger. Oh, the Tiger bounced the Zuka with its front armor. That is quite impressive. M4 though does have line of sight onto the SDK of Z71. I wonder if Funagor's noticed that. I don't think he has. Otherwise he probably would have had that stop and fire. But Befehl Panzer IV there with the Tiger E and the 258 clearing up those airborne rifles. 10 minutes left on the clock and it's currently 50-50, which does mean that Funagor will retain the victory should it continue this way. Focke-Wulf 190 is going to get onto the back of the P51 Mustang. Is it going to be on target enough to get the kill? It is. And that's one of the Mustangs going down there. We also see the ME-109 G2 BR-21 coming in and dropping its rockets off. That's going to be getting onto the back of one of the B-26B Marauders. However, B-26B Marauders do have quite a lot of machine guns on them. More than enough to force that ME-109 to fall back. Looks like the Grider rifles there picked off that car with the flak filling on the back. Tiger E did pick off the M4 Sherman in the town. However, going to be going down for absolutely no reason to the glider leader. Now that is just such a big mistake, and a mistake that ActionMambels has made unnecessarily multiple times now. There is no need to send forward your tanks without infantry, just like into a town at least. Like that is just such a bad idea. Like there's no reason to do that. It's like obvious that your tanks are going to get surrounded and picked off by multiple different things. Here the Befehl Panzer IV, don't think it has line of sight onto the M4 just yet. That M4 is busy trying to chew up Panzergrens coming down the road. ActionMambels does not want that Opel Blitz to be killed though. Befehl Panzer IV trying to get the flank on. You can see that the Panzer IV is just aiming at it the whole time, getting ready to shoot it in the ass. Can he make that happen? No, why is he turning away from it? What's going on? Just decided to do a loop-de-loop around the tree. Just for fun, why not? Come on, Panzer IV. Show him who's boss. What is going on there? I don't know. I'm so confused. Maybe he saw the M1 gun at the last minute, tried to bail away from it, but... oh, gosh. The Panzer IV had the shot. It just didn't take it, because I believe ActionMambels must have microed it from doing so. Oh, that's a shame, because if that M4 was now dead, these Panzer Grenadiers would have had an easy time pushing through this town and taking back ground. But with the collapse of the front line on this top side to these glider rifles, that's a +1 in favour of Funagor, and time is running out for ActionMambels to bring back this game. Focke-Wulf 190 G3 coming in once again with the 4-5 HE power bombs. Doesn't need to kill the M1 gun, however, though, as the Griller did do the job. And the Panzergrens here get their Panzerfaust onto the M4. No, they can't. Panzergren's going to surrender to the airborne rifles at close range, and the M4 is going to survive to fight another day. Airborne rifles do get pinned down by the rockets from the ME-109 G2 BR-21. The Thunderbolt does have a good chance of getting on its rear as well. However, it looks like that's been ordered to do a strafing run onto the 263 to relieve pressure on these glider rifles that are currently pushing forwards. On the bottom side, we do see the mortar carrier being killed off by some airborne rifles, and that's also opened up a rather large salient down here. So although there's actually a serious lack of infantry now for Funagor, especially with those infantry just surrendering there, I still don't think ActionMambels has enough time to bring back this game. If he'd just held the top side early on with a Panzergren squad or a Panzer 1C, he'd be in a much better position right now, and ActionMambels probably would have had a much better chance of coming back It's just such a shame. Because I feel like ActionMambels in this game played a lot better than he did in the previous one. And although his strategy is unorthodox, it almost worked. Like putting so many units into one side of the map without any on the other. Like, that's fine. But you need at least one unit up here. But we're back to 50-50 with 5 minutes left, and even with a +1 now, ActionMambels can't win the game. Even though his dominance across the game is pretty high at the moment. This Tiger E, if it kills off the M4, just going to allow the Panzergrens to continue to push forwards. Off map coming in once again from Funagor, just to try and hold back the push of the 258s, the Guerilla, and the Befehl Panzer II. Airborne rifles going to be killed off down here. They were causing the big old salient, and now they are not, as they are now dead. 56% territory in favour of ActionMambels. Can he find that +2 that he needs to win the game? And will it be enough at this point? The clock's still ticking, and even if he gets a +2, you know, that might not even be enough anymore. The 26B Marauder going to be forcing back the Focke-Wulf 190. They are really, really tanky, those bombers. We're seeing another bomber come in as well, and that is going to be going straight for the Tiger. M4 gets rocketed by the ME-109s. Bombs away. Does force it to fall back. That's good. 57% territory now for ActionMambels. Can he find that precious extra 1%, and will it be enough? It won't be. That's a shame. Still a victory for Funagor in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That means he has to find a +3. And that is a long way off, especially with the amount of bazooka teams that are here in this bottom side. Now, the bazooka teams don't really provide a presence on the front line. So it's going to be very hard for ActionMambels to identify that they are there. The looks does come through, and it looks like they did manage to get a side shot onto the Sherman. He is desperately trying to find that extra +3 though. 62%. He needs 64, I believe, to get a +3. He's got 3 minutes left. And there is quite a large amount of reinforcements coming in here. And the Zuka does get the shot off onto the half track, which is fine. His sort of heavier units are still alive, which is good. But can he find that extra +3? His looks are dying here to the M5A1. That's not good. So he's got to keep that in cover. He's got to maybe try and push on this bottom side instead. And that's exactly what he's trying to do right now. Getting the shot onto the airborne leader. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. He can't really hold back at this point. He has to just go for it. Like, he could at least force a draw. I'm not sure quite what happens in this tournament when a draw occurs. If it's the higher points wins anyway or not. I'm not entirely sure. But I kind of feel like things are going to go very south when this B-26B lands a very nice bombing strike onto these units. And there goes the 262, the 251, and the Panzer 1. Looks like the Panzer 1 died to the M1 gun. There is not enough substance now to keep pushing, and that is a real shame. Panzer 2 looks here, gets bailed out. Fortunately, still a Panzergren here. +3 has been found for ActionMambels, but it's still not going to be enough. Didn't do it quick enough. 1 minute 20 left on the game. And my god, what a game. Not the most skill I've ever seen, but still very interesting to see, like, something so unorthodox almost win. Like, that surprised me. I felt like ActionMambels dropped the ball completely, not covering the other side of the map with just one unit, and that would cause him the loss. But it seems as though Funagor also made his own mistakes that allowed ActionMambels to come back into the game. We're now at 64%, 65% needed for the +3. And again, +3 doesn't matter anyway, since Funagor is going to win in 30 seconds. Now there is some off-map coming down into the town. The Flampanzer comes through and ruins the day for some airborne rifles. But that Flampanzer should have been coming out early on. I was kind of expecting to see it with the 9th Panzer, honestly, but we didn't. And that in combination with like the Stug 3 push through the mid probably would have been a lot more favourable than just the Stug 3 on its own. And he was quite lucky not to lose that Stug to the AT gun anyway. But that's it. That's game. Almost shoots down a Thunderbolt at the end there, but a minor victory for Funagor. And that's going to mean he's won the second game in the best of 3 and moves on to the second round of the Great Paradox Tourney. The full 40 minutes there. Let's have a look at the kills and losses. Funagor, 3,140 kills to 2,585 losses. So still positive at the end, even though he was losing a lot of ground. If we jump over to the kills, those M22s really saved the day down at the bottom side after the Marder 3 got killed by the M3 gun. Killing off the Panzer 1Cs and the Panzer 2 Lux there and the Befehl Panzer 2. Yeah, just really saved that bottom push because the 9th Panzer could have broken through very, very far. B-26B Marauders didn't really do too much. Some nice kills from the Naval Battery. Some nice kills from the Glider Leader as well. That's the one in the town that took out the Tiger E. Thunderbolt took out the Stug 3. That was pretty important. And this M4 won a duel against the Stug 3 in the town. Looks like the M4 there took out the Befehl Panzer 4 in the end. And the M10 came in with the M5A1 and killed the 2 Luxes on the top side. In terms of losses, looks like the Marder 3 did pick off those 2 M22s in the bot side, which was good. It was a very chaotic game. And honestly, after the initial push from the 9th Panzer, like from ActionMambels, I really thought that like he was just going to completely lose, but then sort of ended up pushing into the town, which ended up being a lot less defended than I think Funagor even thought himself. Just again, the way that the infantry was laid out in the town there and the way that the layout favours this map is kind of odd, and yeah, it allowed the Lux to get like really good line of sight onto the infantry, and also that bombing strike, just like pinning down his own airborne rifles, didn't help out either. But there we go. Minor victory for Funagor, and he moves on to round 2 in the tournament. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.